Of all the games coming out next year, Overwatch is by far the one that I am most excited about. So I thought today I'd do a bit of a video kind of breaking down the game, explaining it all, what it all is, how it all works, and why, if you're a TF2 player like me, or even just a general person who likes to play games, this is something you should be pretty damn excited about. So at the start, I'm going to show you a quick 30 seconds of gameplay for those of you who haven't seen any Overwatch before, or if you want to skip straight to the main part of the video where I'm going to talk about it and break it all down, just click that button in the top corner. So, all that gameplay looks pretty damn awesome, but now I'm going to talk about what the game actually is and how this is going to be so different from any other FPS we've ever seen. But I guess the easiest place for me to start off is talking about some of the similarities the game does have with existing games like TF2. So, the game is a class-based shooter, meaning that like TF2, there'll be a number of different playable classes, all with very separate roles and playstyles. Now, right now, Overwatch has 12 playable classes in the game, and they plan to add more in the future. The other major similarity is that the current two game modes that exist are effectively payload and control points, played almost identically to how they are in TF2. So what's Blizzard done here? They've gone and they've taken some core ideas behind TF2, being a class-based shooter with some pretty damn awesome game modes, and they built their game around that. This is a resoundingly good thing, because it means that they've built their game on top of a very, very strong and proven foundation. But let's go into a bit more detail here and talk a bit more about the classes, because that is where this game gets really, really damn interesting for me. Now, Overwatch has sometimes been described as a shooter/MOBA. MOBAs, for those of you who don't know, are games like Dota 2 and League of Legends. Now, the idea of a MOBA shooter is confusing to a lot of people because they're normally two very, very separate genres. But the reason a lot of people have used the term MOBA as one of the ways to describe Overwatch is because of the way the heroes function. Each hero has a locked loadout, meaning unlike TF2, you can't change the weapons which each hero has equipped. What Overwatch heroes do have, however, are a number of unique abilities, not unlike characters in a MOBA. Once again, similarly to a MOBA, most of these heroes have a number of normal abilities, and then an ultimate ability, which is significantly more powerful than the others. Let's take a closer look at Reaper, one of the heroes in Overwatch, as an example for how these abilities work. Reaper's first ability is Hellfire Shotguns. In Overwatch, weapons are considered to be abilities on their own. Reaper's secondary ability, Wraith Form, allows him to become phased and immune to damage for a short amount of time, similar to a bonked scout in TF2. Reaper's third ability, Shadow Step, functions as a short-range teleport, allowing him to move both vertically and horizontally around the fight. Finally, his ultimate, Death Blossom, deals massive damage to everyone around him, and looks pretty awesome, clearing entire rooms of people, even if it does come paired with some pretty funny voice lines like, "Time to reap." As you can probably see in this clip here, you have to earn your ultimate ability through dealing damage, getting kills, and capturing key objectives. These abilities are one of the major differences Overwatch has from other games like TF2, and these class abilities have got a lot of potential to add some crazy diversity to the game. I'm really expecting Overwatch to probably be a bit of a balance between the kind of crazy pub experience that you get in TF2 and the more coordinated, teamwork-focused gameplay that you get in MOBAs. Okay, let's talk about the gameplay itself. Overwatch is going to be played in a 6v6 format, meaning games will have literally half the number of players than your typical TF2 pub. It's also worth noting that you will be able to change what hero you're playing midway through the game. You're not locked into playing the same hero that you choose at the start like you are in MOBAs like Dota 2 and League of Legends. As I've said previously, given the game modes are all really objective focused, like there's no deathmatch where you just run around killing each other, smaller teams and the importance of coordinating abilities together are all going to play a really great role in encouraging some real proper teamwork. The map design seemed to place a really large focus on vertical gameplay, meaning that scaling high buildings and making sure you don't forget to look up will be a really big part of the game. This is supported a lot by the classes having some great mobility options, such as teleporting, climbing walls, and Pharah's kind of rocket jumping ability of sorts. While we're on the topic of mobility, there is kind of one thing I want to discuss that I've seen from a lot of the BlizzCon gameplay. While mobility is one of the things that I love about TF2 and clearly plays a massive role in Overwatch, the style of mobility seems to be very different in Overwatch compared to TF2. While mastering movement systems in Team Fortress 2 is something that can take thousands of hours and be really frustrating at times, the high skill ceiling for things like rocket jumping has always been one of the things I loved about the game, because I always know I can get better at that aspect of the game and improve. Overwatch is different from that, because from what I've seen so far, the movement system is far more basic, for want of a better term. Unlike TF2, where learning to rocket jump properly takes quite a bit of practice, jumping with heroes like Pharah in Overwatch seems as simple as just clicking a single button and watching her fly across the map. This is both good and bad in my opinion, because it makes the game a lot friendlier to new players, which is good, but places a pretty low skill ceiling on the movement aspect of the game. One of the things that's kind of allowed TF2 to last so long is the skill ceiling is almost infinitely high, and you always feel like there are new things to learn. But Blizzard seems to neglect that up to this point. One of the big things that made games like Quake and TF2 so popular was the potential for those holy crap kind of moments where you're just like, how did you do that? That's amazing. I could never do something like that. But I'm not really seeing that a lot in Overwatch at the moment, because there isn't that much potential for those kind of holy crap, that's out of this world plays. But once again, Blizzard is a great developer, and I'm sure they know what they're doing. And there will still be a ton of other areas of the game which aren't rocket jumping, which I'm sure will have really high skill ceilings, and you'll be able to spend a lot of time mastering. So yeah, I guess that pretty much sums it up. That's not every single detail about the game, but it's the general gist of the whole idea behind the game design. If you're a TF2 player, like I'm a TF2 player, you should probably be pretty excited as well, because if you like TF2, chances are you'll like Overwatch as well. I'm hoping the community gets behind this game, instead of focusing on some passing similarities and accusing the game of being a cheap copy, instead kind of see it as a different game which can bring some really new and great things to the class-based shooter area. Diversity is always great, and I know for a fact that a lot of people have just started to play TF2 after seeing Overwatch. The game goes into beta in 2015, I'll put a link to that in the description where you can sign up for the beta if you're interested, so get excited guys, thank you so much for watching, maybe leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.